Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show at State of the Arts. It's March. Can you imagine? It's finally nice outside. The sun was out today. It's melting all the snow. Wonderful. We're finally through the wintertime. Today on the show, I have Grace Kennedy, model, entrepreneur, all sorts of different things. She's a busy young lady. We sit down and we have a chat about how she keeps a roof over her head and how she stays active in her modeling community. But we also talk about how she takes all her opportunities and changes them into learning experiences, which is really, really good. And I thought that was very interesting. So please stick around and listen to that. At the end of the show, I talk about some stuff that you can do to help maybe keep things Canadian a little bit as we march through this uncertain time in the next couple of months. So please, at the end of the interview, stick around for that.
I went to film school in COVID. So it was just me in my room, and like my brother's an actor, so I was like making him do stuff, and he was getting so annoyed with me. So he was like,
Dance,
I
monkey.
don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sorry, you have to. Like, where am I supposed to go?
You don't not want me to learn, do you?
I know.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
So they were my subjects for 2 years. They did not really enjoy it, but it was just me in my house, like,
Doing what you could.
Exactly.
I took digital photography about 10, 11 years now. And same idea. All my friends were just like, really? You got the camera out again? You're helping me learn.
Exactly.
Okay, so look, here is, so that's you, that's the duo shot, that's me. So if you're gonna mug to the camera, mug to that one.
Okay.
I really kind of roughshod my way through these ways. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 introductions and I'll just cut my way through.
Okay.
If you are, if you say something you don't want to say, just give it a good, and then start again, because again, my editing skills are getting better.
Yeah.
They're not perfect, but they're getting there. So yeah. Okay. So give me a second to just get into the mood here. Still cold out, or is it warm?
It's actually pretty warm out with the sun. I was like very happy this morning when I was walking my dogs.
Over the wintertime. Yeah. Absolutely over the wintertime.
I think everyone kind of is. I think we were over it like 2 weeks ago. Like
yeah.
Especially when we had that nice day, everyone was just like.
It was a tease.
We were all ready for it, and then I kind of thought back in my brain to like that meme where it's like winter, pre-summer, you know. So I was
false
like,
spring. Yeah.
Just hold on, wait for it.
Yeah, we were in third winter. That's
yeah.
Let me start again.
Too.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is State of the Arts. With me today, I have Grace Kennedy. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Welcome. Thanks for coming on the show. This was real quick, real fast turnaround, but we got it going, and I appreciate that. That's good. I'm running out of time. I'm moving. We're in a different set today. I don't know
really?
if you've noticed, but the set is usually run out of the apartment downstairs on 6. But we're moving, so that's...
Yeah, I completely understand. Just finish that.
My partner was like, can you please tear down the set a little bit? And I said, all right, fine. So anyways, well, okay, so welcome to the show. Let's start and get into this, because I'm fascinated by your career arc. So introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, because nobody does it better than yourself.
Thank you. I'm Grace Kennedy. My Instagram handle is mace. And then currently I am doing mainly modeling. I do some film, and I am also looking into some different aspects with film to kind of push myself into different set designs and things like that over the last couple of years with events and running fashion shows and everything like that.
Yeah. From swinging hammer to painting the sets, like kind of everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. I used to work in a factory, and my dad is a millwright, so he helps me with all that different types of stuff, and I've always kind of been more hands-on, I like to build and everything like that, but I've also been artsy as well. So yeah, just kind of dabbling in all different types of things.
Where did you start? Like, you've been modeling for about 3 years, you say?
Yep. So I actually went to like a networking event in Hamilton, Ontario. I was actually pushed by one of my older friends. They really wanted to start this modeling thing, and I had driven them basically so that they are able to go. And while we were there, some photographers asked to take my pictures, and one thing kind of led to another, and just started pursuing modeling. So the reason I really did go into the whole modeling thing is because I did go to film school during COVID. So right after COVID, it was very stagnant for film and everything like
yes,
that. Really
yes.
hard to get into the industry, but modeling was still going. Modeling you were still able to do because you could meet in like hotel rooms or like, with like 2-3 people and a photographer. So
6 feet difference between your photographer and the
exactly,
model.
right?
Yeah.
We were actually able to like keep it safe. Whereas filming, they just didn't have a lot of projects ongoing.
Yeah.
But I wanted to keep myself in the industry and keep myself like my brain there because I did work for a factory, and it's really easy to get just sucked into other things, and then you're kind of stuck there. You feel like, oh, if I don't get the paycheck, what's like I'm not gonna do anything, or like you just kind of get that job fear. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to get that. So that's where I kind of made it like a hobby a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna continue with this. Learn through photography about lighting and different aspects as well, and get some practice. So yeah, over the last 3 years, I've kind of been shifting more. So last year I was doing more events, and this year I'm going to be more planning more film aspects, kind of getting back into the film.
Yeah, this is a theme that I keep coming back to, is this idea that we have to work and we have to pay our bills.
Exactly.
So I'm very happy to hear that that you are being able to balance those. Is that ultimately where you're headed? Like, are you going to shake off the shackles of your 9 to 5 and then eventually be a creative, or?
It depends, because I do work for TD Bank. They do have definitely like media options available for them as well. So that's a potential idea, or I just always like to keep things open. I don't like to keep myself restricted to like one goal. I'll keep steps towards certain goals where that might change my life and it might actually boost something, but I never actually like set myself a goal like I'm going to be working for TD Media Team like 2026, because then I feel like you get really stuck and you get really frustrated when you don't see that happening. But if you allow yourself, say I could potentially work media here, I could potentially work media here, or just keep myself open to media, then any opportunity that comes along I can take, and I don't feel like it's taking me away from my main goal. It's all putting me towards a goal, and that's whatever happens in my life. I don't know, and I'm not in control of everything, right? So it's kind of it's hard, but it's nice looking at it that way instead.
So many factors out of your control.
Yeah, exactly.
Just living day to day is tough enough. There's a direction there. So you're doing potentially this. It's about having that ability to pivot. So because you're young and you've got several years ahead of you, you've got so many avenues to potentially explore, and it's very nice to see that you're not shutting down any of that other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that kind of brings me up into this. This you mentioned your plan in our conversation of this Fearless series. This sounds like this is going to bring kind of all your tools into one little thing.
That's kind of where I'm kind of headed towards. So filming myself doing different avenues. It doesn't necessarily have to be towards art. My mom has wanted to do like bungee jumping or jump out of an airplane, skydiving, but she did break her arms last year, so she doesn't know if she can anymore. Yeah, she broke both at the same time when she fell. So she was kind of down and out for a bit, so she doesn't know if she can fully do that anymore, but that's always been something that we talked about doing together. So I kind of want to like jump on some stuff like that and see how that just changes my mindset, how that I can work that into changing like my career paths and how it can make me more confident and stuff like that with like my self-esteem and everything. So I feel like every experience we have does, like the ripple effect, it does change us.
Yes.
So I just want to document that and where my mind takes me and everything.
Is there a grand scheme, or is there just the sense that you want to record what you do, or is there like an arc there for you?
As like a documentary like artist, I really lean more towards just filming myself, because I feel like there's always a story within just watching something. You can always find a story. And I don't always like to push stories onto people. I like when it's like art, when you're looking at something, other people see other things. So that's where I see it with documentaries, and I always love discussions with documentaries and things like that. So that's where I kind of want to leave it, is just explain what I want to do, and then kind of like show the experience, and then explain to people like how it's changed me. Even like farther down the line, I can bring it up and be like, how we did this skydiving thing, it actually got me this opportunity, and because of that, now I'm doing this totally different thing. So
Yes.
yeah, just kind of like showing progress and everything. And I feel like the story is going to evolve itself.
Okay.
I'm not going to have to force the story into that one.
Yeah, you find, especially in a documentary situation where you start doing one thing and then you find by the end and you get to your edit,
Exactly.
it has
Yeah.
become something else. So much like going back to earlier, that ability to pivot and to recognize kind of what you're doing, you sounds to me like you're keeping enough pokers in and enough fires to be able to pull them at any time and use them, and that's wonderful, because you have to keep those knowledge, because you had mentioned earlier this idea of not being not being tunnel vision, but also having this really weird sense of niche. One of the big things that I'm reading right now as far as creative and being creative, because I am all over the place, I'm not, I am, you know, but this idea that if you're not creating something different, forget it.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you want to be able to bring it in and kind of refine it down to something. So how do you figure that that's going to be, like, how do you work that out?
See, I also struggle with niches when it comes to like social medias and stuff like that, always sticking yourself in one box. And they always say, like, to boost yourself, you always have to find a niche so that people can follow you and everything.
Right.
So I think my niche is just life. I think
Okay.
that's what I was thinking about the other day, is that like it's just about living life. I'm not trying to like put myself in a box, or like, you know, this is my life, this is who I am, and this is what I've chosen to do with it, and this is what I've learned and experienced. And you can either follow along on my journey, or, you know, you don't have to. If I'm not quite your cup of tea, that's totally fine. But that's kind of like, I don't want to like put myself on in just like one label, where I think it's just going to be like, overall, that's my life, and let's see what happens.
Right? Jack of all trades and just live it out.
Exactly.
Out, right? So let's get to the touchy subject. So you want to do all this. You're a young woman on the internet. That in itself creates problems, tricky issues. How do you keep yourself safe and happy doing what you do while being the product?
It can definitely be tricky, and I know personally I've dealt with situations before I entered into modeling that woke me up to certain things, like being available online to every single person and everything like that. So with my Instagram account, I really do keep that to one account. Like, my modeling is on Instagram, and it is through, like, I do have an agency and everything like that, so you can get me through there professionally. I also have like a booking link through Google and everything, where you're able to like reach out to me that way. But I also keep my other social medias private for a reason. Like, I don't model through Facebook, because I find that Facebook's a little trickier to navigate, and I don't have everything like cross-platform, and I know that may injure me in some ways when it comes to like growing my business, but I feel like having myself limited gives me more power to who can come in, who can create with my space, and who can also interrupt my space as well. So that's why I do typically keep it to like Instagram is really just for my modeling. My TikTok is just kind of like for fun little moments. And then I have like my Facebook for my family and things like that. So I really designate the accounts out. And I also, when I'm having a bad day, I just unplug from my phone. That's one thing that I've really been working on. Instead of just scrolling, looking at everybody that I may be jealous of or want to compare myself to, I've really been taking myself out of that. And that's why I have this Fearless series, so that I can plan certain things that I want to do, that, you know, I'm not looking on the internet and going, oh, they're doing this, so I need to now do this. I'm just sitting back. I'm really sitting with myself, planning, and I'm thinking and looking internally to who I am and what I want to become, and certain things that can help me become that. So that's been fun. And it's definitely been fun disconnecting and also connecting back with myself instead.
Well, that's good. Yeah, the doom scroll, right? Endless doom scroll.
Exactly.
The bent neck syndrome that we're all dealing with. And I like the idea that you're disconnecting. It also sounds like it helps that you've got a buffer
Yeah.
It seems like you've got a nice little. The agency must absolutely help with that.
My agency definitely helps with getting bookings and things like that for me. I can also do things by myself as well, which is why I still have that booking link through Instagram. I really do love my agency specifically for that because I have that option.
Yeah.
I can go with their clientele, or I can also do my own work as well. So it is quite nice, and it's also, I find it's a lot easier to say no in certain situations as well, because not to be awful, but I can just say like, no, I don't believe that my agency would appreciate looking with that look. Like it doesn't align with the look of my agency.
Okay. Yeah.
So I find it a lot easier because unfortunately in our society, no isn't always taken as just a full sentence.
Yeah.
So if I do have that to back it up, a lot of the times they just really back off. Before I had my agent and everything, I definitely see a difference. So that's why I like to use that as well. Just because their values, once I'm with them, I have to represent their values, you know?
Course.
So it's no longer about my values. So if anyone wants to walk all over me or anything like that, they can, because I have that little bit of a buffer.
That's nice. That's nice. Have you been with the agency the full kind of 3 years? Or?
No, I actually just got with them last winter. So everything over the winter can technically be just a little bit slow. So I haven't really got my full start with them yet. We'll see what happens in 2025.
Yeah. That being said, have you got anything you want to plug? You've got stuff, but what have you got right now tangible
Currently, I was just like moving, so I'm just kind of dealing with getting everything situated. I will be in the GTA Toronto area more, so I'm just looking into like current events and stuff within there. Doing some applications for some runway shows coming up for spring, so that's really exciting. And then just really working on filming. So I have been planning these music videos, which I plan to execute within like summer for a featured artist that I have. So it's going to be really fun.
Do you want to shout out to that artist? We can always put up links for them.
Perfect. So the featured artist is Oh My Gosh. He is a little bit different. He does like rap beats, regular beats, synthesized beats, and he also produces his own songs as well.
Nice.
We're gonna have a lot of different things coming out for that. Some animation styles, which I'm currently working on myself, and then we'll also be doing some just like real life music videos.
Good heavens, So busy. So good. Summer 2025, the summer of grace.
That's gonna be really busy. So really just in my planning mode right now. I don't have any a lot of current projects going on because I'm not trying to overwhelm myself. And that's why if my social media presence is a little bit slow, I promise it will catch up. I feel like planning is definitely the more important part to every project. So if you plan better, the execution will go amazing. So that's just where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I have gone into many projects unplanned, and they are all uncompleted sitting somewhere in my file folder.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Grace, it has been wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I look forward to hearing some of this stuff and seeing more from you, and we'll keep in contact. And maybe I will reach out and book you for some. Problem is I never have any shoot in mind.
That's totally fine.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us, and we will talk to you next time, all right?
Bye.
Perfect. Okay. Hey everyone, how you doing today? Hey, did you ever have one of those moments when you're listening to an artist on the radio or online and you find out that that person that you're digging is a Canadian artist? You ever wonder why that happens? It's not just luck. There's actually something going on there. It's called CanCon. See, Canada has always had a bit of a challenge when it comes to media. See, we've got this big cultural powerhouse right next door, and their content tends to flood our airways. Back in the day, that meant Canadian voices were getting drowned out. So, the powers that be said, hey, let's make sure that Canadian stories, music, and ideas actually get heard. So that's how CanCon rules came to be. Introduced in 1971 by the CRTC, they make sure that TV networks and radio stations include a healthy dose of Canadian content in their programming. And now, thanks to something called BC11, those rules have expanded to include streaming platforms like YouTube, Netflix, and Spotify. So what does that actually mean for you? First, it means more Canadian content shows up in your recommendations. Have you noticed more homegrown music popping up in your Spotify playlists? That's CanCon at work. Second, it encourages big companies like Netflix to actually invest in Canadian productions. So instead of just importing American shows, they're helping create Canadian series, documentaries, and films. We couldn't have a Schitt's Creek without Corner Gas, no Kids in the Hall without SCTV, and no Spenny versus Kenny without Just Like Mom. And finally, it keeps Canadian culture alive and thriving. See, without these rules, we'd risk losing our own stories in the noise of Hollywood. Look, this isn't about waving a flag and shaking my fist and saying, hey, buy more Canadian or else. It's just more about getting you to realize that when you watch Canadian content, you're supporting the people that tell our stories, whether that's musicians, filmmakers, or local artists. And honestly, you might just find something amazing that you wouldn't have stumbled across otherwise. Do yourself a favor and find the movie Through Black Spruce. Amazing movie. It'll change your life. So next time you're scrolling through Netflix or queuing through your playlist, why not grab something Canadian and give it a shot? You never know, your next favorite artist, show, or movie might just be for somebody right here at home. Okay, that's all I got for you this month. Please tune in next month. I have Eric Drummond on the show, this guy right here. Painter. Can't wait to show you his work and the chat that we have. So we'll see you next month.